Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the start, the prequel, if you will, to video number 3. We're going to give everyone just a few minutes to join in and log in and get joining with us. We've got about 5-6 minutes before I get started. And so, just want to welcome all of you. If you are joining now, as you're getting settled to watching, please just grab a cup of tea, a cup of water, a notepad if you want to take notes. Just get settled and get comfortable. We're going to be starting in just about 5 minutes. I want to give everyone a little bit of time to join in. It's been about 1 week since I started my first video. We've gone through video number 1 last Thursday, video number 2 this past Monday, and we are at video number 3. They are all important for different reasons. Today is one of my favorites, so I'm really excited to have you all with me for video number 3. If you have not watched video number 1 or 2, please go back and watch those at some point. Don't hang up now. Don't tune out now, but go back afterwards and watch those. So you get the full breadth of information that I'm sharing, and we can all be on the same page as we strive together, work together to conquer IVF and make sure all of you get pregnant and achieve the goals that you're looking for. So I am assuming that you can all hear me. If you couldn't, my assistant would let me know. So I think in that case, we should be good to go. If you are joining from YouTube, we've had such a good response by sharing this live on YouTube that we're going to continue to do that. So if you are joining on YouTube, then first I want to say welcome, and second I want to say that you need to register. Go and register so you can watch video get all the links to watch video number 1 and 2. Go and register so that you can post your questions so that I can answer them for you. Go and register so that you can get all my support that I email specifically to all the community members who have registered. So to do that, go to marksklar.com, marksklar.com/conquering IVF. The link is in the description as well. And then, we'd love to have you as part of the official group and launch of my video series. So I've got my hot tea right here, and hopefully you all do too. I've got my cup of hope because we're providing hope to all of you and to everyone who follows me. And we are ready to get started in just a couple minutes. I am going to hit start on my Facebook feed so we can give everyone time to get started there and join in there. And then we will get going. So let me do that. Awesome. For everyone who's watching live here, you're going to get a little bit of a recap again, because as I welcome everyone from Facebook, not to worry, not to worry. I'll keep it short. So welcome everyone who is joining from Facebook and Facebook Live. I'm just going to adjust this image here so you can see a little bit more. Welcome to all of you. Please know that if you're watching on Facebook, this won't last very long. I'm just here to say hi, to welcome you into the fold and invite you to join me live on my page here as we go live for video number 3. If you have not registered, please go ahead and do so at marksklar.com conquering IVF /conquering IVF, so you can get all the emails, all the support, you can ask all your questions, and you can see my video and information the right way, and you can get the full length of the video by joining on the main feed. And you'll be able to watch in replay as much as you like. So do that. And I should remind everyone, all of these videos, video 1, 2, and 3, will continue to be live for about the next week. And then they're going to disappear. Right? So if you want all the replays, the links, and all the information that I can support you on, and you want to join my community of women who are going to conquer their IVF, then make sure you register at marksklar.com/conquering IVF. As we get started, grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of water, sit down, relax, grab your significant other so they could join in this process. Because I think video number 3, although it's awesome to do individually, I think it's extra special to do as a team and as a unit. So together you can move forward on the same page as we address the mind and spirit moving forward with IVF. And so you both can walk forward together on the right page, both in mind and in spirit, to make that happen. So I'm going to give everyone just another minute as the clock ticked over to 5. Give everyone just a minute, and we're going to get started here in just a second. That is my hot tea. It keeps me warm, as I like my rooms to be cold as I start this process and I start talking to all of you. So I'm going to do a little bit of recap. Welcome officially to video number 3. Welcome all of you. I'm excited to be here. For those who are just joining now, I'll tell you, as I said earlier, video number 3 is really special to me. It's one of my favorite pieces to go over and discuss because it's so powerful. What we're going to do today and what we're going to cover today is so powerful, not just for fertility, but for the rest of your life. And I was reminded about it earlier this week as I was listening to a new audiobook that I've been listening to. Just like all of you do your own work to work on yourselves and your health and your mind, I do the same thing myself. And I'm constantly striving for more and to be better and to grow and learn. And so that's what I was doing. And so a lot of the same points that I'm talking about with all of you, I was reminded about earlier, which just hit home to me about the value of what we're talking about and the importance and significance of what we're going to cover today. So, welcome to the video series. For those who you don't know, hopefully you do at this point, my name is Dr. Mark Sklar. I'm the fertility expert. And this video series is about allowing you to conquer your IVF. I want to help you in the process, first deciding, first and foremost, if it's your right option, if IVF is the right option for you, then giving you the tools to make it successful so that you can achieve your goals, and then offering you the support you need. How can I support you all on this journey to help walk with you to achieve those goals? So we've already covered in video number 1 the things I wish you all knew before IVF. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go back and do that, because that's where we start thinking about the whole IVF process and what you need to know about IVF before you start IVF. It's an important piece. I talk about this with patients often as they start going through that journey. And actually, I have a patient who I saw on Tuesday who's been watching the video series, and she was saying how much of a great reminder and refresher that information was, because we've already addressed a lot of that. Video number 2, in these beautiful images of TV screens that my wife drew, a big shout out to her again, is the first steps to conquering your IVF. How to pick the right IVF clinic and what's the best IVF for you. There's lots of different protocols and styles, mini versus conventional. What's the right option for you to reach your goals of conception and to have a successful IVF cycle? So I discussed that in video number 2. Again, if you haven't watched that, make sure you go back and check that out. So you are all here because you want to get pregnant. You're doing IVF and we want it to be successful. Growth and progress take effort and change. I want to say that again. Growth and progress take effort and change. And you have to create new habits, and then you have to strengthen those habits, and that's how we grow, and that's how we progress, and that's how we change. And all that takes effort. But to do that, it all comes back to habits. And that process of making new habits can be uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. absolutely necessary. You just need a plan to follow. And I want to tell you that I promise you, it's in my program called Conquering IVF that I'm going to show you that plan so you can succeed. But it's not going to be easy because these things are not easy. They take change and they take willpower and they take the ability to create new habits. And we're going to be talking about some of those new habits today, okay? So in today's video, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 3 tools to keep your emotional journey on track during the IVF process, okay? That's this little thing right here. I'm going to come back to this page in just a second. And a foolproof technique to help you stop second-guessing yourself. I'm also going to discuss how to create your own IVF reality and get the results that you want. You might be thinking to yourself, that's really cool, Mark, but aren't those things that I should be learning about? Aren't there other things that I should be learning about IVF that might be more important than, you know, cool techniques or the emotional journey? Absolutely not. You know, I see how different the results are for patients who are focused on the positive and living their IVF with a positive mindset compared to those who let the emotions of the process win them over. And that's why this video is so important and so valuable, because we need to move past that. Yes, IVF is difficult. It is emotionally challenging and draining. It can even cause a strain on your relationship, which is one of the reasons why I want you guys to do this, what I'm talking about today, together, okay? But having a positive mindset undoubtedly leads to better results for all of my patients. So, video number 3 is about mind and spirit approach to IVF. How can we bridge that? This piece, getting this piece, the mind, connected to the spirit so that our bodies can yield the results we want to, is imperative to get the results that we're looking for. And I would argue to all of you that this piece right up here, the mind, is way more powerful than anything else that we're discussing and takes a lot of effort to see change, which is why I started just a minute ago talking about habits, because it's those habits that are going to yield the results that we're looking for. So, control your mind. How are we going to control our mind? I'm going to talk about that. How are we going to, instead of allowing our mind to control us, how are we going to control our thoughts in our mind? 2, stop. Stop second-guessing yourself and your decisions. I had a patient today. I haven't told you her name on purpose, but I've actually brought her up a couple of times in this video series. And she came in today. I saw her, what's today, it's 5 o'clock. I saw her at 2 o'clock. She came in at 2 today. And she said to me, you know, I've got my IVF scheduled. I'm ready to move forward. This is the plan. This is how we're going to do it. Do you think I'm shooting myself in the foot by doing it this way? And I said, well, why do you say that? Because we talked about this last week, her and I. I said, why do you say that? She was like, well, I just want to make sure it's going to work. And she came up with all of these reasons. She was second guessing everything. We need to stop second guessing ourselves, okay? I'm going to go into that in just a second, but once you move forward and make a decision to move forward a certain way, I want you to move forward wholeheartedly with that process. There's no time to second guess it. Support. Find support from people who understand you. This is so valuable. I talked about it, I think, in the first video about group support. I'm talked about it in every video because community and group support are essential to yield the results and the progress that we're looking for. And this is really big. But it's also that foundation of group support and finding the people who understand you. That is the reason why I created my group coaching program around Conquering IVF, to support all of you with me actively involved in that process. But this group support, again, I'm going to go into in just a few minutes, but it might not just be, you know, your mom or your sister or your best friend. We might need more than that. Trust. How to conquer the IVF spirit is about trusting the process. Are you able to trust the process enough to leap forward with it and get the results that you're looking for? Okay? That's a key part of conquering the IVF spirit, is trusting the process, trusting your team. And the number, well, actually, I don't know what, I lost my count on number, but this one over here is we're going to cover my 3 tools. I'm not going to give it away yet, but I've labeled them as E, P, and G, okay? These are my 3 tools that I'm going to teach you how to do today to get started on changing here to yield the results here that you're looking for. So why is the mind and spirit so important? I've told you why I feel the mind and spirit are so important. I want you to comment why you think dealing with the mind and spirit for IVF is so valuable and so important. And as you do that, I'm going to say goodbye and sign off on Facebook. If you haven't already joined me on the main feed, please do so. Go to marksklar.com/conquering IVF. You can watch video 1, 2, and the rest of 3 there. All right, so now my eyes are just on you. I'm going to turn that off. Focus here. Okay, so I want to touch on a couple key points as it relates to all of this. And as it relates to all of this, I want to mention research studies. I did it in video number 1, and I touched on this specific point. I'm going to touch it on again and then more, okay? Because this shows the value of the mind, the spirit, and community. Research studies going to fertility treatment, research studies show that going to fertility treatment is similar to the stress of being diagnosed and treatment of cancer, cardiovascular disease, any life-threatening issue. It paralyzes us. It doesn't allow us to move forward with the rest of our life. And I'm not a fan of that, which is part of why I created this program. There was a doctor in Colorado, and he said, new mental health issues may arise, or pre-existing mental health issues may become more severe or worsen during the IVF treatment. Okay, that's Dr. Steyer. And he advises that patients make their mental health a priority during the IVF process. This is huge because it's often ignored. And I'll tell you, even though he says it should be a priority, I can't tell you how many IVF clinics don't put enough support and emphasis into this, which is why I'm doing it for you. We have to team up together to do it, okay? Emotional support and open and honest dialogue about the stressors of infertility should and need to be established. This can be with each other, one-on-one, with close family or friends, support groups, or even with therapists. You just need to find somebody to talk to and relate to. And a patient told me this specific quote yesterday, and I'm going to read it exactly the way she said. IVF made me feel like such a failure. Friends were having their 3rd baby, and we were still trying for our 1st. I'm not sharing this to scare you or offend anyone. I want to keep things real, and I want to help you so that you don't go through the same thing that all these others have gone before you, okay? It's not okay to suffer as you go through IVF. We should thrive, and I want you to thrive, and I want to support you as you do that, to thrive with it. So I'm going to share a testimonial. It's just a minute long. As I get that going, can you all comment in the feed and let me know how IVF is affecting you emotionally? Post a comment how IVF is affecting you emotionally, and then I'm going to share a quick testimonial for all of you, which is just 1 minute long. All right.
como 6 años. Y con Mark estuve casi 1 año, 8 meses más o menos. Mira, lo más importante es que no se rindan, que jamás se rindan. Todo llega, todo llega. Y pues la verdad que para mí fue un antes y un después en los tratamientos con Mark. La verdad que fue lo mejor que pudimos hacer. Y no, la distancia jamás hubo algún inconveniente para nada. O sea, logré mi embarazo, tengo una bebé. De hecho, el próximo viernes cumplí 1 año. Y no, pues estamos felices. Estamos súper felices con mi gordita.
All right, I'm back. So maybe some of you don't understand Spanish. That's why those words were there. It doesn't matter. You can feel what Carla's saying. You can hear her heart talking and singing about how valuable this work was for her. And I just got an email from her that she's pregnant with number 2. So that is so exciting and so valuable. But the topic today is about the mind and spirit approach. And that's really what I want to talk about right now. So let's get started with today's topic. Share. This is here because I want all of us to share what we're going through. We need to talk about our feelings. So talk about our feelings. My handwriting is not as beautiful as my wife's. We need to talk about our feelings. We need to get it out. We can't keep it in. We can't hold it in. And so the first person, or the first entity, I should say, that we're going to talk with is as a couple. As a couple. First and foremost, it's really important that open communication is happening between you and your partner. If that's not happening, you need to make that priority number 1. It helps all of us. And for women especially, it helps to clear our mind and our heart, our spirit, right? So we need to do this. But on the same token, we can't make the only person we talk to our partner. It can be draining for us as a couple to always be discussing with one another. We need to reach outside of the two to expand to more. So first and foremost, on that note as well, I want you all to know I have couples who talk about IVF and fertility every day. I don't recommend that either. It's too draining. It's too much, okay? We want, as a couple, to only do this when necessary. I might even suggest that you make times, special times in the week or the day that this topic is allowed to come up, because if not, it's going to come up all the time. Now, while you're going through the IVF process, that's different, because there's so much going on and so many different things to address that conversation needs to happen more frequently. But that aside, talking about fertility and the journey and the process should not happen every day, all day long. Okay? And outside of talking with your couple, as a couple in a partnership, you need to talk with somebody else. So, especially for you women, although I would argue for men as well, we need community. We need community. We need to find a community of men, of women, of couples that we can discuss and talk openly with one another about what we need. Maybe you just find one couple that you feel comfortable with. It doesn't need to be more than that. That's fine. Maybe you just have a close girlfriend and your mom or your sister, whatever it might be. But you need to talk to outside of your community, outside of the couple. You need to create a little community of women or men or couples that's going to support you through this process, through good and bad, regardless of what the outcome is. And sometimes they need to know that you don't need suggestions. You just need someone to listen. Okay? And number 3, the third C is create a safe space. That's why I created this program and this monthly group coaching calls, to create a safe space for all of you to talk openly and to be supported and to support. It goes both ways. And I did this partly because I know and I have seen that my patients do better when they get this same support. Sometimes that support comes from me directly and my team. And sometimes they have others to support them. Whatever that might be, we need a safe space to do that. And it's imperative that you do that as a couple, create a safe space, and as a community, you create a safe space. But that's also why I did that for you, so that you can join me and my community of women to be together in that safe space to support one another as we go through that process. Stop. Stop second guessing yourself. This is part of how we have to help control our mind. No more second guessing, okay? Stop second guessing. I'm not even going to write it because I don't want to give it attention. I don't want you to second guess yourself anymore. So that's why I've got these letters right here, okay? B is for be on board. Be on board. Once you decide to move forward with IVF, be on board with the process. Don't second guess it. Trust the process, okay? Number 2, ask. Ask your doctors for the support that you need. Ask the questions that you want answered. Ask for second opinions if you need them. Ask, okay? Because this helps keep your mind at ease and it allows you to stop second guessing things. When we don't ask those questions, we second guess not asking the question. We second guess the process. We second guess everything. And like the patient I just mentioned earlier, how she was second guessing her process, right? I saw her today at 2 o'clock. At least she asked me the questions so that I can put her mind at ease and she could begin to trust the process and be on board more fully. Okay? F, find. Find more support and guidance outside the IVF clinic. Your IVF clinic is only going to support you so much. It's only going to give you so much guidance. It's not going to give you everything. They can't, and they don't. So find the support that you need. Create or get into a community of women, men, or couples that can support you in creating a safe space to talk to one another and to be there for one another. And that's partly why I created this, because I know you don't get support or all the support you need from the IVF clinic, and I'm here to blend that together and give you that support that's missing. And then T, we've already talked about this a couple times. Trust. Trust. Trust your heart. Trust the process. Trust that you've made the right decision. We second guess ourselves from here out of fear. We trust from here, from our heart, because you trust that you've made the right choice, that you've made the right decision. But also listen to yourself. Trust your intuition. Trust yourself that you, and if you're second guessing, just sit quietly for a moment and just make sure you've made the right decision by trusting your gut and your female intuition. And then once you've done that, you can move forward and trust the process. Okay? So, I'm going to take a little quick sip of water. And I'm going to teach you how to trust the process with my 3 tools, the E, the P, and the G that I didn't mention. Okay? But I'm going to unveil it now. You can see it all clearly here. The E stands for emotional log. G stands for gratitude journal. And P stands for positive affirmations. This allows us to create the world and the process and the results that we want. So, the emotional log. This one, I recommend for all of you, this should be part of your morning ritual. Consider this your morning mindset ritual, your emotional log, okay? And these are the steps that you're going to take as you go through this process. I even tell you to create 3 separate journals. Actually, these 2 should be journals, and this should be note cards, okay? But you need 3 separate things because I want your emotional log to be kept in one place, and I want your gratitude journal to be kept in another place, okay? So create a safe space at home as part of your morning ritual. You get up, this is the first thing you do. You don't check your email. You don't check your news, text messages, phone calls. How many of you sleep with that phone right by your bed and the first thing you do when you wake up is check to see what's going on in the world? Who's messaged you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be? As much as I value those tools and those social media tools, I'm telling you during this process, they can't be priority number 1. They take the focus away from you and put it someplace else. They control your mind and your emotions because they pulled you in a certain direction. We can't be pulled. So that phone stays where it is. You don't reach for it first thing in the morning. You get out of bed, make your cup of tea. If you're drinking coffee, drink that cup of coffee, sit down, find that nice safe space. And for your morning mindset ritual, you're going to start your emotional log. And I want you to start with the first question. What am I feeling today? What am I feeling? Am I feeling stress? Am I feeling fear, negativity, overwhelmed? Am I feeling hormonal? Am I feeling sad, happy, joyful, misunderstood, alone, triggered, angry? Whatever emotion you are feeling, good and bad, that's what we're putting here. You write that down. What do I need to address? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to address how I'm feeling? So you put down that emotion, and then what do I need to do to address how I'm feeling? Write the activities or anything really that you know can help you move forward through these emotions. For example, going for a walk, talking with my mom, a glass of wine, although be careful if you're going through IVF, reading, watching movies, a good night out, a walk in the park, a walk in the rain, a yoga class, a weekend away, a good book, whatever it is. What do you need to deal with that emotion? That's what you're writing in your emotional log. We want to get that out so you know how to solve it and move forward, okay? Then, gratitude journal. This one is straightforward, but this one I want you to do before bed. It's a separate journal. You can even keep it by your nightstand bed. And instead of checking the news or the latest Facebook feed before I go to bed, the score of the game or whatever it is that you're doing before bed, okay, I want you to spend some time with this. And then I want you to spend some time with your partner. All too often, we're all doing our own separate thing before bed, watching TV, reading a book, whatever. We get into bed, we lean over, we say goodnight, give a little kiss, and we close and we roll over and go to bed. Spend some time with one another. And as part of your gratitude journal, express to one another what you're grateful for in them. Okay? But this is pretty simple. In this journal, all you're writing is, what are you grateful for today? It could be multiple things. What are you grateful for today? That's what you're writing in the gratitude journal. And then positive affirmations. This one I want you to come back to and do in the morning. Okay, so this one's going to go with your emotional log. You're going to do your emotional log, and then you're going to write some positive affirmations, or you're just going to review your positive affirmations. So this I like on cards because I want you to be able to use them. Maybe you're putting them up in the mirror, you keep it with you all day so that you can review it, but you're going to write it in the morning, or you're going to pick the ones that you're going to focus on today. Okay, and then you're going to do that in the morning as part of your morning ritual. And so these are positive mantras for today. Here are some of my favorites. I am fertile. I am light. I am loved. I can do this. I will be a mom. I am a mom. I am awesome. I am perfect the way I am. I am joy. And there's hundreds of more that you can create for yourself. Whatever feels right for you, I want you to create, okay? And that's what you're doing in this positive affirmations portion of it. Now, I want you to leave a comment. I also want you to start practicing on these. What's the comment for you that I want you to leave is all about the emotional log. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling now? Post a comment about how your emotions are feeling today, right now. I want to know, because that's how you're going to start your emotional log when you start it tomorrow morning. Okay? Conquering IVF. So I just want to recap everything that we've covered, okay? Because these are the types of things that you're going to learn in my Conquering IVF program. You're going to learn how to implement these things even more so than what I told you today. And you're going to be able to share in the community of women and couples who are part of this IVF community. And you're also going to get my guidance so that we can help prepare you for your upcoming IVF. This is about building new habits to change the way your mind thinks. To do that, it needs to be very deliberate, which is why I've walked you through that process. And you need to be consciously making these habits every day. Conscious, not unconscious habits, consciously. And you need to be in charge of your thoughts, which is why we're working through those three things. That's why this is so important and so valuable for you, okay? In my fourth video, I'm going to cover what I think is possibly the most important piece to making your IVF successful. I call it my egg and sperm approach. With the egg and sperm approach, you're going to be able to learn the two most important pieces to make sure you get pregnant in your next cycle, okay? And I think it's going to surprise you because it has nothing to do with the egg and the sperm. Talking about conquering IVF, for all of you looking for a plan to make sure your IVF is successful, I've created my Conquering IVF program, okay? Conquering IVF is a program that will help you to increase your IVF success rates up to 40%. It's my online program where you'll find all the advice, the guidance, the support you need during your IVF. And this is the same support that I've given to thousands of patients over the years. And this program is designed to go along with your IVF treatment with your IVF doctors. Think about it. You wouldn't enter into an exam, a test, or go into an interview without preparing first, right? You wouldn't run a marathon without training. You wouldn't make an important life decision without thinking about it first. You wouldn't do one of the most important things of your life without first seeking the proper support. And IVF is no different. And that's why I created this program. And I'm going to tell you all about it in my next video, okay? Because it covers the guidance, implementation, and community. And that's what we talk about in this approach. I'm also going to let you know that I want you to be part of my community so that I can support you throughout the month and throughout your IVF cycle. You all have been brought to watch this video series for a reason. Opportunity. Opportunity to make change in yourself, your life, and your IVF. You've been given an opportunity to change your process and improve your chances of success. And this does not come easy. Because as Brendan Bouchard has said, and I quoted this the other day, when you knock on the door of opportunity, don't be surprised when work answers the door. But the most amazing part, the most amazing things happen when you make a change and work hard at something. And I want to see those amazing things happen for all of you, which is holding a sweet little baby in your arms. Okay, questions. How many of you have questions? I want you to post your questions because I'm going to answer them right now, okay? So hopefully you've been posting some questions. I'm going to search. Let's see. Let me refresh the screen. I'm refreshing. Okay. So I have to lean down to read this question. Give me 1 second. Diane says, my cycle is usually 30 to 32 days long, and I know that I ovulate around day 16 to 17. When I did, it was done on the day 11 or 12 of the cycle, and at my only IVF a couple of months ago, the egg retrieval was done on day 14 of the cycle. Is it important when doing IVF to take into consideration the normal length of the cycle, or does it not matter if it is done before I normally ovulate? Yeah, so when you go into an IVF cycle, I stop tracking a woman's cycle. It doesn't matter to me where you've ovulated before, what the length of your cycle is when you menstruate, because all of that is theoretically being controlled. There are exceptions to it. The exceptions to that are that if you're doing a natural IVF cycle, then yes, some of that is definitely more important. But if you're being controlled with medication, then no, when you ovulate normally, when you menstruate normally, it does not matter. Okay, give me 1 second to check more questions. Hold on, there's a bunch here. I just need to find them. I'm going to get to the bottom. Okay. Where is it? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to read it all through the feed. Okay. What are the basic things to do and know before IVF treatment for women over 45? Well, we've been talking about it, right? I've been talking about it through video number 1 and video number 2 and this. These are all the basics that need to be done, But I definitely spoke about women over 45 in video number 2 when we talked about mini IVF. And then she says, is adenomyosis a risk or hindrance to a successful IVF cycle? Yes, it is, but it can be treated, and I have treated this successfully over the years to yield successful results. So yes, it can be a problem, especially if it doesn't get addressed. Any new treatment for low AMH or diminished ovarian reserve? I don't know what she means by new. These are all things that I base on my patients' histories and hormonal profiles and individual needs. And then what is the maximum number of IVFs a woman can do? There's no maximum. It really just depends on you. Ideally, we're going to do as little as possible to get the results that we're looking for. But I have had patients who have done 5, 6, 7, 8 IVF cycles. So, you know, it's not ideal though. I have a very low AMH level, but my other hormone levels are surprisingly okay when tested on day 3. What does this mean? What can I do, if anything, to increase my AMH levels? I have discussed this on many, many occasions, what we can do to increase our AMH. The first thing is to find out what's going on hormonally overall. And that's where we focus our attention, okay? Yeah, I know she said that everything was tested fine, but as you've heard me say over and over, I don't typically believe all those tests and we need to see it, okay? But a key thing that you can do to affect AMH is start taking vitamin D. That can absolutely be taken. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Is there an age limit for IVF? Not necessarily, but it does change your success rates, and it does hinder kind of your options the older you get. My doctor's office is 2 hours from me. After the transfer, what do you think is best to do, either going back home same day or just stay closer within the area? My preference is just to stay closer within the area and then go back the next day. I think there's one more question here. Can't seem to find it. Hi, Mark. So excited for this. I had a failed IVF frozen embryo, 5-day blast starting to hatch transfer a couple months ago. We only had 1 embryo to freeze and use. What does it mean when all your embryos make it to day 3, but then only 1 or none make it to the final step to day 5? Is it an egg quality, a sperm quality, or both? Prepping for IVF round number 2 in 3 to 5 months. So, and she did confirm that they were all PGS normally tested, genetically tested embryos. So typically when this happens, I think, you know, obviously it's both, and they both have some, you know, great power in influencing the development of an embryo. But I believe the first 3 days are really influenced by the health of the egg, and the last 3 are influenced by the health and development of the sperm. So in her case, I would say it's probably more of a sperm issue, and I would for sure look at that and rule that out. So I'm going to see if there's any additional questions before I say otherwise. How can I tell if I am premenopausal or if my cycle is out of whack because of stress or weight gain? That's testing. That's where labs come in. Definitely, we'd have to do some hormonal testing, do some adrenal testing. I do some more advanced testing when it comes to that, to really look deeper into that process and be able to answer those questions. So we've given you 45 minutes of awesome information on how to continue to conquer your IVF. And I want to make sure that all of you join me for video number 4, Monday morning on the West Coast, to learn my egg and sperm approach to finishing off this video series and giving you all the final tools you need to be successful and conquer your IVF. Please make sure you join me there. I'm grateful that you're here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you Monday. All right, everyone, signing off.